Multiplication and division review test coming up. This is the review we gave them. We went over with most of the kids the answers over it in class, but just if you guys want to review at home, here's what we did. A lot of times they didn't know which were they're multiplying or dividing. So one thing you can do is, I did on this one here, the Cardinal stock baseballs in the closet. I guess those are for next year since we lost. Each shelf has 84 balls and there are 14 shelves. How many baseballs do the Cardinals have in the closet? So if I drew this out, I have 84 there, 84 on each shelf. So it'd go up. So there, after I see it, 84 plus 84 plus 84, I know it's going to be multiplication. So then I can do it by area models the way I did this one. 80 plus 4, 10 plus 4, and then I just multiplied. Put them in there. 80 times 10 is 800. 4 times 10 is 40. 80 times 4 is 320. 4 times 4 is 16. Add those numbers up. You get 1,176 baseballs in the closet. A lot of mistakes or didn't know is it multiplying or division. So that's one way to do it. Just draw a little table. So like this one, we have 23 cards in a pack. There's 23. They have 2,876 packages in stock. How many cards do they have in stock? So I'm going to add these all the way up. So I know it's multiplying because there's that many packs of cards. So after I know it's multiplying, you can do it two ways. And you can do it more than two ways. You can do it probably three ways. This is the standard algorithm. I did the 3 times the 6, the 7, the 8, the 2, and then carry them as I go. Then annex your 0, and then do the 2 across, then add those up. Or you can do the area model, 2,876 times 23, and then you're going to add these numbers up, and you'll get the same answer. Next is what we're doing is understanding when we multiply, what are we actually doing? So we look at these answers over here. 400 times 13 plus 20 times 13 plus 7 times 13. So what essentially they did was did the area model, but just with the 13 here, they didn't write the expanded form. So that would work. That's going to give us the same exact answer as the top. So A would be a good answer. B has 407. So that's not going to work because if you add those together, it'd be 407 plus 20 plus 7. So that's going to be 434, and we need 427. So that's not going to work. The next one is 427 times 13. That would work. They just added those together. 407 will not work again. This one will not work because 1 plus 3 is 4. If they had a 10 here, that would be a good answer. So, but it's not, so that won't work. So the next one says 427 times 10, and then 400 plus 427 times 3. That'll work. So what they did there was they left the 427. They broke it down 427 this way, and they wrote the expanded form of 10 plus 3 at the top. Okay, so that would work. The next one, that's just a very bad answer. So we're not going to talk about that one. The next one, what they did was they broke it down in the area model. So I broke it down, 427 times 13, 10 plus 3. And these numbers equal the top one. So I know that one's right. It's going to give me the same answer if I add all those up, because that's what I do when I do area model. The bottom one, it looks like they multiplied the 7 times the 10 wrong, and they got a 7 instead of a 70. So that one will not work. Next, what is the product? And so what we do is, I'll do it one more time. So what we do here, first start with the 2. We'll do the standard algorithm. I did do it. I'll show you the area model over here in a second. So just refresh real quick. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 7 is 14, carry my 1. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 is 17, carry my 1. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. And then I usually erase these so I don't get mixed up. And then I'm going to the 10, so I need to annex a 0. 6 times 3 is 18. 46 times 7 is 42, plus 1 is 43. 6 times 8 is 48, plus 4 is 52. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 5 is 29. Add them up. 6 plus 0, 8 plus 4, 7, 8 plus 3, 10 plus 2, 9 plus 1. Area model. Break it out in expanded form. Let's see if I can show both of them the same way. So there we have 4,873 times 62. So just multiply those. 6 times 4 is 24. Add 4 zeros. 4 times 2 is 8. Add 3 zeros. 8 times 6 is 48. 3 zeros. 8 times 2 is 16. 2 zeros. 7 times 6 is 42. 2 zeros. 7 times 2 is 14. 1 zero. 3 times 6 is 18. 1 zero. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay. Then I took those columns and added them up. And then I just put them underneath and added them up. Got the same answer. Okay. So which expression or equation can you use to represent the area model? So this, we're just making sure they understand what the area model means. We're going to have 2 multiplication and 2 division with each area model. Okay. So if we want to write the different equations, we could write 53 times the question mark. 53 times that gives me the answer. So let's go down first. Then we're just going to switch those up. Question mark times 53 gives me the answer. Now we're going to do division. This divided by this gives me that. This divided by that gives me this. So those are my 4 equations. You always have those with each area model. And then I look to see which ones they are. The last one is area model with division. So what we're going to do with this one, I'll do another one since the answer's on there. So I'm going to start with my 459, the number I'm dividing, inside the area model. And then I'm dividing that by 17. So what I first did, I did 17 times 2, and I found out it's 34. So I could do 20 and give me 340. That's good. 3 would give me 510. I don't have 510. I only have 459 to divide. So I'm going to stick with my 20. 20 times 17 equals 340. So I'm going to put that 340 underneath. Subtract. Gives me 119. I'm going to put my 119 in the next box. And then I had a student just guess, what do you think 17 times what gives me 119? One of the students guessed 5. So I put 5 there. We did 5 times 17. We got 85. And then we subtracted, and we got 34. So then we had to have another step. And that was 17 times 5 equals 85. And so the last step would be 17 times 2 would give me 34, minus 34. So then everything is grouped. So then I need to add the top. 20 plus 5 plus 2 equals 27. So my answer is 27 down here. Okay. So that's how it looks like an area model. Next, North Carolina raised $7,280 to buy basketball uniforms and equipment. They spend half the money on the equipment. They bought 14 new uniforms with the remaining money. What is the cost of each uniform? So first what I did was took that money and divided it in half. So I did partial quotient. So I took 6,000. I knew 3 times 2 was 6,000. So 3,000 times 2 is 6,000. Subtracted. Then I knew I could take out 600 more. So 6 times 2 is 12. That's down to 80. So 4 times 2 is 80. So I know I have $3,640 left. And then I'm going to divide that by 14. So I know 14 times 2 is 28. So I took out 200 of those. So 200 times 14 was 2,800. And then I subtracted and I got 840. And then I knew that it was, I just guessed a number. So I went with 6. So I did 6 times 14 up here and I got 84. And so I subtracted those. And then I added my partial quotients because I took 200 out and I took 60 out. So I'm going to add those together. So I got $260 for each uniform. The next one, the basketball team practices 310 minutes each week for the basketball season for 16 weeks. How many minutes during the season? So what you could do, 310 minutes the first week, second week. So I know that I'm going to add all these up. So instead of adding all those up, I'm going to multiply. But a lot of them, when I looked at it, some of them divided on it. So that's how I know it's going to be multiplication. 310 times 16. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. Annex my 0 because I'm going to the tens place. So that's that 0. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. Add them up. 4,960 minutes of practice during the season. The next one, at basketball camp, there's 252 basketball players, 14 players on each team. How many teams are there at basketball camp? So if you think about it, we're going to have 252 people. So I'm going to put dots. Those equal my 252. I know there's 14 players on each team, so I'm going to count 14. Make a group. Count 14. Make a group. What am I doing? I'm dividing those. So I'm going to divide this number. So 252 divided by 14. So I know 10 would be 140. So I started with that because 28, 2 of those would be too high. So I start out by taking groups of 10. So 10 would be 140. Subtract and I get 112. And then I knew it's going to be less than 10. So I just guessed with 8. And 8 times 14, I did the work over here and got 112. So I add those two up when I'm done. And I get 18 teams at camp. So I know there's 18 teams altogether. So there it is. Try to figure out what you need to do. Is it repeated addition, which would be multiplication? Or are you dividing something into groups? So that's the big thing they need to practice. All right, good luck.